it's a real test of your mana and your character. When things ain't going right, how quickly the team can really connect together.
You're looking to head to France, of course, this weekend. What do they pose? Are they a different challenge to Canada? How do they differ? How are they similar?
They never gave up, and the effort they put on and try to chase them down was, just that sort of Black Ferns effort that we're really proud of.
DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
DSPN, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lachlan Waugh. We have a big weekend of sport, a couple of international rugby games on. Of course, we have the All Blacks against the Wallabies here in Auckland Saturday afternoon. But later that night, if you can keep your eyes open, the Black Ferns take on France in their final World Cup game. That's in the bronze medal final, of course, coming before the England-Canada final, both at Twickenham. We're lucky enough to be joined by the Black Ferns Director of Rugby, Allan Bunting. Allan, thank you very much for joining us.
Good to jump on, mate. And it was good to hear you switch from your voice to your radio voice. Pretty witty there, mate.
Well, I guess I can't help my roots, can I? It's supposedly a podcast, but then you shift into your what's familiar. Allan, just I guess, how's the week been after that loss to Canada? Obviously, a disappointing result for yourselves and the players and the coaches and whatnot. How's the response been in camp this week?
Yeah, well, obviously gutted, right? Yeah, and you have a vision and. You get cut short and you don't achieve your goals you want, so obviously you're gutted. But we had a couple of days to really connect and you get around each other and you sort of put that behind us and take some learnings out of it. And the group just connected really well, and we're pretty lucky that we didn't finish on that note. We've got another opportunity this weekend against a pretty tough French team playing at Twickenham, still playing in a Rugby World Cup, so a real chance to go and turn things around and for our country and our whānau.
Just looking at some team-specific things, Allan, obviously you get to welcome back Georgia Miller this weekend, which is great. You've also got Laura Bayfield back in there as well. Just on Georgia, are you able to shed a little bit more light just on her situation? If I'm not mistaken, it's a hamstring issue that she has?
Yeah, we've actually just thought for the privacy of the players. It's been a joint decision, and players and management we're unable to share that, but obviously glad to have her and Laura back.
Okay, great. And in terms of Kelly Brazier, she's not in the 23. Was there any sort of temptation to include her? I can't imagine that Kelly's got too many more rugby games under her belt at the age of 35.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. She's training really well.
Okay, fair enough.
Kelly's been amazing, mate. Yeah, probably the most experienced Black Fern here. She's been playing for a while, and what she's been doing in the background in our Tahuhu group and preparing our teams each week, she's been really leading that space, massively impressive, and I probably doubt that this is going to be her last run of rugby, but she's been massive.
Well, great. Well, that's what we want to hear. Now, just in terms of that game against Canada last weekend, just going back to that for a sec, look, people say hindsight's a wonderful thing. It can also be the complete opposite of that as well. It can be a bit of a sort of a niggly, frustrating thing. But I guess looking back at film and how you guys performed, do you feel as though there's stuff that you prepared for, or the way that you prepared your team that maybe wasn't right? Or do you look at the way that you guys set up and think, we should have done this a bit better? How have you sort of viewed that side of things?
Yeah, well, overall, there's probably quite a few things. Probably myself, as a whole, looking a bit deeper. But if you sort of look into the game, we felt like we had a pretty good weekend. The ladies were ready, and we come up against a pretty accurate Canadian side. They were really accurate and executed, and we just found ourselves on the back foot, didn't we? I think they scored in the 8th minute, 11th, and then 24th. And
quick tries, yeah.
When you're chasing games, it becomes quite hard, especially against a tough Canadian side, and probably a bit of our discipline, and we got on the back foot and allowed them pretty easy access. But it was tough. We know our ladies can, they can really perform, and when we get our game going, but we really struggled to get our game going there earlier on. But the effort and they never gave up, and the effort they put on and try to chase them down was, that sort of Black Ferns effort that we're really proud of. But obviously, not the outcome we were searching for.
Is it a case of physically you guys, it was just too hard to get back into the contest? I can imagine that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I can imagine that when you're in those games, that when things aren't going your way, it's a case of, okay, let's just settle down, go back to the basics. But to go back to the basics, you've obviously got to sort of work in your set piece, and obviously, you look to the breakdown, and you look to obviously the tackling side of things and making sure you're sharpening up there. Was it just a bit too hard to do that given how physical the contest was?
I thought we bounced back pretty good in the second half. We changed. We ended up playing quite a bit of rugby in our own half, and obviously with the error rate and penalty, I think it was 10-1 at 70, 10 penalties to 1 at 75 minutes, which is the going's going to get tough
Yeah,
against
yeah.
Canada when you've got that, which I probably haven't heard of before. But um, yeah, but in the second half we changed tack a little bit, and we started finding a little bit of space in behind the line, and with a couple of kicks on kicks, we got down there and we started score a few points, and yeah, but we just left it too late, mate. Yeah, I thought it was really outstanding, quite courageous, hey, and he really got us, it gave us a chance to get back into that game.
Yeah, an insane stat that I don't think we see in men's rugby, women's rugby, and children's rugby and golden oldies, where you've only got like one penalty conceded through 60 minutes or something ridiculous. So Canada was certainly on one. You're looking to head to France, of course, this weekend. What do they pose? Are they a different challenge to Canada? How do they differ? How are they similar?
Yeah, they're a little bit different, but there's some similarities too. They're obviously strong set piece, and they've got some real flair in their backs. When they get the ball to space, they're probably kicking themselves a bit. They had a few opportunities in that first half against England, and if they had nailed a few of those, it would have been a much different game. But they definitely base their game around their half. Pauline Bodon, she's it's pretty similar to Canada. They do it like she runs a lot and she'll kick and pass. So a lot of their game's based off her, and also they're pretty good over the ball. I think we've got the top jackal rate in the World Cup at the moment. So around our breakdown and making sure we look after the ball is going to be really important this week.
Are they a totally different side than the one that this Black Ferns side played in the World Cup at home? Was it 2022, 3 years ago now? Because, of course, you were involved in that coaching group, and that game is probably one that comes to mind very quickly for a lot of Kiwi fans as they think to that semi-final. Are they different than that team?
Yeah, they are different. There's different profile in there. There's a few players still in there, but yeah, they're a different team. But Farah, for us, it's we do know the threats that they pose, but there's certainly opportunities out there, and we've had a real focus on us this week, and we really want to get our game going. And got a beautiful opportunity at Twickenham, sold out Twickenham. To really go and do our country proud.
Yeah, just quickly, that's a wonderful thing, isn't it? I mean, it's very easy to get down to the dumps about what's gone on the last week or so, and obviously as Kiwi sports fans, we love our teams, and when they lose, we really feel it. I can't imagine how, the coaches and the players are feeling as well. But it is a wonderful moment for women's rugby that you get a massive stadium like Twickenham, you've got two great games there this weekend, and it's sold out. I mean, it felt like that 3 years ago in Auckland was a marker, and this feels like another marker, doesn't it?
Yeah, over here in the UK, they've done an amazing job. This World Cup, World Rugby's done an amazing job, and it's been a massive event. And women's rugby is really growing. But just on last week, you talked about the pain and the heartbreak, but rugby isn't our identity. These ladies are so much more than rugby players. Rugby players, rugby is what we do, and obviously gutting because we know we feel the weight on our shoulders, but we've got to move on. We've got to move on, and life goes on. And like I said, we needed to turn things around pretty quickly this week because of this amazing opportunity that's ahead of us now, to go and do the Black Fern thing, and another opportunity to inspire those young ones back at home and around the globe.
Is this the toughest game that you've ever had to prepare for, Alan? Because I can't imagine it's the one you want to be in. Obviously, you want to be in the final.
No, I don't think so. I think these sort of games are a real measure of character.
Yeah. No.
I've been in a few, probably more so sevens tournaments or World Series tournaments where you get knocked out a bit early and you've got to play for third and fourth, or even even knocked out in a quarterfinal when things go wrong. It's a real test of your mana and your character. When things ain't going right, how quickly the team can really connect together, look outward, or look inward before you look outward, and just find real purpose and what is your real vision and purpose of the team. And sometimes it's more than just winning everything. If your whole goal is to win everything, you're going to pretty struggle. You're going to struggle because everyone is going to not win at some point in time, and if that disconnects your team, then your team probably isn't where it needs to be. So it's been a real good character test for us. And our ladies have really connected really well this week, and our ladies that haven't been selected this week's pretty tough, but far out, man. What they today training, the challenge they put up against our ladies that are playing was massive. The efforts from those ladies, and like you said, the Kelly Brazier that hasn't played for a while since the first game. Efforts, those are the real MVPs, the ones that have been doing the hard work and not getting out on the field. So, really impressed with our group.
Yeah. And I sort of look at this team and it's it's very easy to sort of pick out some of the well-known names, your Portia Woodman Whitcliffs and then your Ruhe DeMonts and Renee Holmes, but there's some really great young players, which has been proven by the fact that I think out of the 3 Breakthrough Player of the Year players nominated for that award, 2 of them are Kiwis, which shows you that we've actually got a really great crop of young players.
Yeah, really proud, right? We don't... we've been able to unearth some pretty young talent in this tournament, isn't it? Like, young Bracks, and obviously people have heard of Georgia before, but, to see them out on this world stage in such a massive event that it's being watched globally is, huge. And, the future for the Black Ferns is looking pretty good.
Do you think it's a sign that the current structure of, I guess, provincial rugby back here, the Farah Palmer Cup and Super Rugby Aupiki, do you think that is a sign that that's working well? Do you think it could be working better?
I know New Zealand Rugby are working really hard to, keep growing women's rugby, and we've been pretty well supported this year. We've had everything we needed at this point of time in women's rugby in New Zealand. So there's no excuses here. New Zealand Rugby has supported us very well this year.
Awesome, Alan. Thank you so much for your time. All the best for this weekend. I hope the entirety of our country back here will be wearing black. I'll make sure I'll be wearing black on Saturday. And all the best for the game.
Cheers. Thanks, Lachlan.
This is the DSPN.